Hey y'all, welcome back to my channel, and in this one I am harvesting my potatoes. I finally got some red potatoes this year. There's still 4 more plants growing more potatoes, so I have to wait to harvest those ones, but I was able to harvest a few. Now, I didn't film this part, but I did end up burying the stems of the plants into the soil for added composting to hopefully help give extra nutrients to the 4 plants I have left so they produce hardy potatoes for me. I love doing this for the garden because it does help the ecosystem living within the soil as well. Just wanted to add that little side note. Now on to regular scheduled programming. I will be reading another passage from The Language of Letting Go by Beattie. It is titled, Valuing This Moment. Detachment involves present moment living in the here and now. We allow life to happen instead of forcing and trying to control it. We relinquish regrets over the past and fears about the future. We make the most of each day, from codependent no more. This moment, we are right where we need to be, right where we are meant to be. How often we waste our time and energy wishing we were someone else, we were doing something else, or we were someplace else. We may wish our present circumstances were different. We needlessly confuse ourselves and divert our energy by thinking that our present moment is a mistake, but we are right where we need to be for now. Our feelings, thoughts, circumstances, challenges, tasks, all of it is on schedule. We spoil the beauty of the present moment by wishing for something else. Come back home to yourself. Come back home to the present moment. We will not change things by escaping or leaving the moment. We will change things by surrendering to and accepting the moment. Some moments are easier to accept than others. To trust the process, to trust all of it, without hanging on to the past or peering too far into the future, requires a great deal of faith. Surrender to the moment. If you're feeling angry, get mad. If you're setting a boundary, dive into that. If you're grieving, grieve. Get into it. Step where instinct leads. If you're waiting, wait. If you have a task, throw yourself into the work. Get into the moment. The moment is right. We are where we are, and it is okay. It is right where we are meant to be to get to where we are going tomorrow. And that place will be good. It has been planned in love for us. God, help me let go of my need to be someone other than who I am today. Help me dive fully into the present moment. I will accept and surrender to my present moments, the difficult ones and the easy ones, trusting the whole process. I will stop trying to control the process. Instead, I will relax and let myself experience it. You know, I really love doing these passages a few days to a week after the actual passage. So in a sense, rereading them. And I love looking back at them because it still applies whenever I read it to whatever situation is going on in my life currently. For example, I wanted to get this video posted and sent out earlier this week. However, it was my birthday weekend this last weekend, and I decided this year, instead of just celebrating one day, I was going to celebrate the entire week because I've had pretty much shitty birthdays all through my whole life until about a couple years. And I just wanted to make it special since my cat and I share a birthday. Now in that, I've noticed I make these kind of, unrealistic goals for myself during these periods of time where I want to take me time. I always have done this. I think it's related to trauma probably. What I love about this passage is that it reminds me that it doesn't matter when I wanted to get this posted and sent out to you guys, because right now was the right moment for it to happen, not when I planned for it to happen, because I kept putting it off and pushing it off and going, I'll do it tomorrow, I'll do it tomorrow. And clearly now was the perfect time. And that's the beauty of the universe.
the next day.
Now these are the russet potatoes that I planted earlier. Now I only put 2 russet potatoes in there. Granted, I could have probably left them in there for longer to see if they would get bigger. But I just don't think they had enough room for how many that they produced. I ended up getting 5 of these, as well as I think there's something in there like centipedes or something that are eating my potatoes, because I think that's what's happening to my yellow potatoes and why those plants are still green, because they're just constantly creating more because they keep getting eaten. I haven't filmed that part yet. I will probably film that eventually. So see that in the part 2. Now in this part you will actually see me burying the stems of the plants into the soil for composting throughout harvesting these potatoes. Woot woot for the plants. Do a dance, make a love. Get down tonight, get down tonight. And yes, I have that playing on record in my head a lot. Anyway, back to scheduled programming. Now another passage from The Language of Letting Go by Melody Beattie, and this one is letting go of shame. Shame is that dark, powerful feeling that holds us back. Yes, shame can stop us from acting inappropriately, but many of us have learned to attach shame to healthy behaviors that are in our best interest. In dysfunctional families, shame can be tagged to healthy behaviors such as talking about feelings, making choices, taking care of ourselves, having fun, being successful, or even feeling good about ourselves. Shame may have been attached to asking for what we want and need, to communicating directly and honestly, and to giving and receiving love. Sometimes shame disguises itself as fear, rage, indifference, or a need to run and hide, wrote Stephanie E. But if it feels dark and makes us feel bad about being who we are, it's probably shame. In recovery, we are learning to identify shame. When we can recognize it, we can begin to let go of it. We can love and accept ourselves starting now. We have a right to be here, to be who we are, and we don't ever have to let shame tell us any differently. Today, I will attack and conquer the shame in my life. This is a good one, actually a great one. I constantly still have to be reminded of this every day because I was raised to feel shame about who I am as a person in my existence, and even shame about my own self-expression. Like earlier when I was just celebrating the plants and then doing my little thing and making that song reference, that took a lot of courage, and I still kind of feel shame when I'm that goofy person or expressing myself in a goofy way, because I was always told, grow up, you're being dramatic for no reason, that's stupid, why are you doing that, you know? And I think a lot of us experience shame in some form throughout our whole life, whether that be childhood trauma and abuse from parental figures, other siblings, other family members, or just straight up bullying from school because other children were dealing with that kind of abuse at home, or just were straight up mean and taught to be mean because hurt people hurt others, and that's all they were seeing as a reference from their own parents. I definitely think it is a hard wound to heal when you're going through your healing journey, because it's not only just shame, it's also rooted in hurt and betrayal and anger as well. So it's like multifaceted emotions tied to maybe one or a few experiences or a theme of experiences. And if you recreate those traumatic patterns throughout your life, it kind of compounds itself. So it takes a while to get to the root of the shame. Now, in my own personal experience, I'm really proud at how far I've come in healing that shame wound, because years ago I was more robotic in videos because I couldn't be my authentic self because I was not in a safe environment to do that, as well as I wasn't comfortable and confident enough in myself to do that as well. I'm happy to say that I am more of an advocate for myself now, because behind the scenes I'm just here rooting for myself, and when I feel anxious I encourage myself to keep doing it and just express myself, because I'm gonna feel better if I do it versus not doing it, because I'm gonna feel shame if I don't, and I don't want to repeat that cycle. Now, it's really hard to form new habits when you weren't raised with those tools, so you kind of have to make the tool yourself. And the tool that has helped me the most is by treating myself like the best friend that I never had, that I always wanted to have, that I was to other people. And that's helped me come this far.